For a dinner party
Yeah,
from
go
cinema.
for it, yeah.
Okay, so I take the villain from Mad Max Fury Road. I'll choose Jack from The Shining, and then I'll choose Darth Vader as well.
Okay,
just to have a bit of a
three
generic
villains.
one.
Okay.
And then the last one is.
Did you do that on purpose? This is FREDFLIX, brought to you by Cineworld, a film and TV podcast where I talk to guests, and sometimes don't, about their film and TV lives. And today we have another special guest. God, they just keep coming. He is a stand-up comedian and a growing content creator maestro, Phil Kostelecky. How are you doing? Wait, can I have another run at that?
Yeah, so
Phil
it's Philip.
Kostelecky.
Philip.
Philip Kostelecky.
Philip Kostelecky.
Philip Kostelecky.
Philip Kostelecky.
Philip Kostelecky. Philip Kostelecky. Great. So thanks for joining me, Philip Kostelecky. How are you feeling today?
I was feeling good.
Yeah.
It's very rare you're in a cinema by yourself, or with just one other person.
Take your time.
And it's so quiet.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre, especially if you live in London. I biked here as well, so I just had the hustle and bustle of the city, and then I've just come into this complete calm, and it's very relaxing.
It's very you to bike here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously I know you very well now, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Philip Kostelecky.
Philip Kostelecky.
It just feels like you. I actually saw a bike pull up when I was waiting for you at the door.
Yeah.
And I thought, I bet that's Phil.
Yeah.
Philip.
You can call me Phil. I don't mind. I prefer Philip.
I like Phil, but like, it's not my name. It's not my choice. So I'll call you Philip.
Thank you.
Yeah, brought to you by Cineworld. Thanks for joining me. So we're going to go through your film and TV viewing life,
yes,
step by step, and we're going to finish up by deciding what your life would look like on screen.
Yeah.
First things first, I would like to say... Oh, actually, I would just like to say he is a great stand-up comedian. He does have clips on his Insta, and we will talk about that towards the end. Just we'll plug your stuff at the end.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
But just I want to introduce you as a character, as someone who... He's a funny guy.
I'm a funny guy.
I'm a funny guy. He's a funny guy. That's why
he's my pale friend.
And you're a film fan, right?
I am a film fan, yeah. It's something that developed later on in my life. Like, I wasn't like raised super into film or like with a super film family. Like, we obviously watched them growing up. But it was about like 14 to 16. That's when I started to start watching films on my own.
Okay.
Just downloading them illegally, essentially.
Right.
Sorry.
Before then, you were not allowed to watch films?
No, we were allowed to watch films, of course. But I think I wasn't like into watching films. Like, we'd watch a film, but I wouldn't think like, oh, there's a world of cinema, or like there's a lot of films out there that I haven't seen.
Okay.
And I wouldn't go out of my way to watch a film that I hadn't seen, for example. Like, if it was on in the movies or was on TV, I'd watch it.
Okay.
But it was like, basically, there was a girl who I met at a summer camp who I liked, and
there we go.
yeah, this is how it started. I liked her a lot, and we sort of like got along well. We had like a kiss and all this kind of stuff, you know, big first kiss.
I love a summer camp romance.
Yeah. A bit creepy when you say it like that. Oh yeah, I
just
love
love
it when
hearing
those
them from
children.
you.
Yeah. So it was all good, but then like she left and then came back for the last week of the camp. And but then that week she was just like completely cold with me for no reason. Nothing. I don't know what had changed, but she just wasn't into me.
No way.
And what happened then was I was like left, but I knew it was her birthday at the end of August, so I'd message her on her birthday, and I was like, she has to respond for her birthday,
cute.
right?
Yeah.
And then maybe start the conversation, maybe be like, hey, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And so I had like 2 weeks where I had nothing to do until I literally was waiting for her birthday to message her. It's so pathetic. Like, this is what 14-year-olds do.
Yeah.
And during those 2 weeks, I was bored, so I just went on the IMDb like top 100 movies, and I just started watching them. And that's when I started watching movies by myself and like getting into them.
Sorry, that was such a roundabout story, and I was like, how is this going to pull back to how you got into film? So you basically saying you wasted time between messaging the girl of your dreams by watching films. That's how you distracted yourself.
And that's how I distracted myself, and that's how I got into watching movies, like by myself, and like going out to see a movie that I'd want. So it was like Murder on Sunset Boulevard, Casablanca, Singing in the Rain, all these kind of like old films. Obviously, they're on the top 100.
Cute.
And so that's how I started watching them. And then I messaged her for her birthday. I wrote, happy birthday, blah, blah, blah. And then she just didn't respond.
Oh, no.
But then that interest had been instilled. Like, I was there.
You were by that point, you were kind of like, I've already found my mistress.
Yeah. Cinema is my love. So I've really enjoyed it. And then especially at university, I had like friends who were into cinema. And then I started like watching a lot more films by myself. I haven't seen all the, obviously I haven't seen all the major films.
You haven't seen all the films?
I haven't seen all the films.
Can we just cut the cameras?
Yeah.
What?
I haven't seen all the films, but like I genuinely now like I'll go to the cinema by myself. I look out for films, or I'll have I have a huge list of films that I want to watch.
Nice. Same. Are you a letterboxer?
I have a letterbox, but I don't use it to like see my list. I have my list on my phone.
Oh, cool. Okay, private. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, you can follow me on Letterboxd via my link in bio. One question I'd like to ask then is, when you say you didn't watch many films on your own as a kid before 14 or whatever, were you watching a lot of TV? And did you ever consider yourself more of a TV person? And has that changed over time? How much TV do you watch now?
So I think I watched a lot of TV with my family. So we'd watch like House together, stuff like this, or like Friends and stuff like that. I think a lot of my film and TV viewing was like a family event. That's kind of how we did it. But then I watched stuff for myself, like Family Guy and other movies. I think I played a lot of video games when I was younger, so that was my kind of main like entertainment outlet, for sure.
Any video games that have turned into IP
movies,
giant blockbuster films?
I've never seen any of them. Like Assassin's Creed, for example, that was a movie, but I think that kind of was a dud.
I don't think it was very good.
No, because I think it's the classic thing with video game movies. It's made by people who aren't really into the video game, don't know why it's good, and they don't think, what is it about this video game that is enjoyable that could translate into the movies?
Yeah, but I think sometimes it maybe even does have writers who love the video game, but it's like the director that's attached to it is often like a jobbing director.
Or the actor.
Yeah.
The actors, this is the thing, is like the actors are all like, I'm not trying to sound rude, but they're all like 30-plus-year-olds who probably have never played the video game. They didn't grow up with the video game.
Yeah.
That's what you need from the actor. You need somebody who is like excited by it, has core memories of like these insane moments in the video game where they almost died and then blah, blah, blah.
Best video game adaptation is... I feel like there's an obvious one that I'm forgetting, but there hasn't really been one good one, has there?
No, not that I think of. There's a Borderlands film coming out, which I'm not particularly
They were going to
excited
make
about.
a Halo film for a while with the director of District 9.
Yeah, that would make sense.
They never did it.
But there's a TV show now.
Oh.
There's a Halo TV show.
Maybe it was related to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a lot of my screen time was spent that. But then I watched a lot of stand-up when I was like at that age as well. So I had like, I think my main interests were like stand-up and video games.
Right.
As far as
And how do you feel about the kind of filmification of stand-up? So best example is probably Bo Burnham's Inside.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, so I don't think Inside is a stand-up thing. I think it's a comedy kind of like documentary sort of piece. It's like an art piece. But you have filmification. I think a good example would be something like Rothaniel, which I don't know if you've seen, but Bo Burnham directed that, and that's a very cinematographic. What's the word I'm looking for? Cinematic.
Yeah, cinematic.
Cinematographic.
Yeah, we both had a stroke. Right?
Yeah, it's a very cinematic stand-up piece. I actually like them. But I think the problem with cinematic stand-up specials is they're often done by very artsy people, which aren't like the kind of like clubby, punchy stand-up that I like.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that there's some really great like comedies which are really cinematic. I just keep wanting to say cinematographic.
So you like clubby, punchy because you're from the New York School of Hard Knocks.
yeah.
You're like, hey, what are you got doing down on the Fifth
My
Street?
wife.
Oh, my pizza. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Second question would be, when was the last time you actually went to the fucking cinema?
I know that you have a pet peeve about this.
Yes, because the cinema industry, well, depends which month you look at it, but some people are saying it's dying or it's not as good as it used to be, blah, blah. My personal opinion is it's probably finding its place among the other mediums, a kind of happy medium.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but I still get annoyed when people are like, oh yeah, I'm massively into film, but I can't, I went to see Oppenheimer last June or something. I'm like, what?
Yeah, well, that's you being a bit of a snob, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, I do have a film podcast now, so I'm officially allowed to be.
You know, your podcast, FREDFLIX, until this morning, I didn't get why it was called FREDFLIX.
What?
I was sitting there, I was like, oh, FREDFLIX, because it's like flicks, like movies. Then I was like, oh, like Netflix.
Yeah,
FREDFLIX.
well, I probably shouldn't say that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it works both ways, do you think?
Yeah, I think it works.
Like kind of
Look
Netflix
at the insecurity
pun,
coming out. It works, right? Yeah, the title works.
Just workshopping it on the show. So when was the last time and what did you see?
I went to go see Challengers.
Me too.
About 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and thoughts?
Great. I really loved it.
Yeah?
I thought it was really fun. I thought it was going to be more about the love triangle, and I thought it was going to be more about like cheating and like the psychological manipulation of the other people, which is why I didn't want to see it. I was actually against going to watch it because I was like, I don't want to watch a movie where like a guy is being cheated on or he's being mentally fucking fucked in the head. Can we swear on this, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I'm scared to.
And you know, I hate it when you ask someone that like on a thing and they always try and look cool and they're like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can swear here.
Yeah, you can fucking swear here.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more about like the mental struggle of having to deal with somebody like sleeping with your girl or whatever like that. But then it was more of like a very fun, flirty, sexy like love triangle vibe to it.
It was way more lighthearted than I expected.
Yeah, I think it was kind of like everyone involved just to be like, ah, fuck it, who cares?
Because I'm a big fan of his other films, the director.
What did he
it's
direct?
Luca Guadagnino. So he directed Call Me By Your Name.
Yes, yeah. I've never eaten peaches the same after that.
Yeah, and he also directed one of my favourites, Bones and All. Did you see that?
I haven't seen Bones and All.
Mate, oh, I love it. I mean, we can't talk about it in depth because it is extremely gruesome and I'll probably get blocked wherever I'm posting this. But it's brilliant. And so based off that, he also did this horror film called Suspiria, which was really gruesome. So I was going into challenges thinking, okay, the trailer's really frothy, but there's going to be some shit underneath that. But it was literally just like a highbrow romance.
Yeah, I think also what I liked about it is that it's kind of about the upper class in society, but it doesn't like hang around that too much. I find there's a lot of films which like they just show how like the rich live, or like it's kind of like a commentary on how rich people are, and I just don't give a shit. Like Triangle of Sadness, for example.
I skipped it for that reason.
I didn't care. I watched it. I mean, I really liked. What else did he do? He did Force Majeure. He did that one as well, didn't he? The guy.
Was that The Square or was that Yorgos Lanthimos?
No, The Square.
Was it The Square?
It's the same guy who did The Square.
Yeah.
I don't know did he do Force Majeure as well? I can't remember. But anyway, so The Square was kind of like, it's just so weird and wacky, and that's what makes it fun. But I'm like, I don't need to watch another film where you were like, oh yeah, rich people are bad. I'd much rather invest the time into like an interesting story.
100%. And for some reason, that year that Triangle of Sadness came out, there was loads of films about that exact topic.
Yeah.
And I can't remember off the top of my head now, but it was like, do you remember? There was like a year where it was like, everyone was taking the piss out of being rich. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just sick of this.
It's not even like, it's like, don't touch me. You know, that kind of like, they don't touch my world because I don't live in that world. But I was just like, I'd much rather, have you ever seen Bicycle Thieves?
Yes.
That film for me, like that's like a story that's based in a reality of real people. That's way more interesting.
Yeah. I saw it ages ago. What's the relevance to the financial? Are they poor?
Oh, they're so poor.
Right. Okay.
Oh my God, they're so poor.
They're so
it's
poor.
It's so authentic.
It's fascinating.
It's so real. But I mean, just sort of like, I think stories where like there are like people are living in reality is way more interesting. And maybe Bicycle Thieves was a weird example to give.
No, it's a good example.
Because it's just so like I think I'd much rather invest, like have directors and stuff invest in stories that actually relate to real people. And also I hate this, and this is a problem I have in stand-up as well. It's just, I hate it when rich people just make fun of people who are richer than themselves. Yeah. Like when a really wealthy comedian goes up or a really posh comedian goes up and they just do an impression of a more posh person. Yes. And it's like, I don't really get what this is.
I've remembered what the other film was. There was a few others as well, but one was Saltburn. Yes. I was like, oh, we're kind of making richness be crass.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't, when you're talking about like telling real life stories, I don't mind someone making a film about rich people because that is real. Yeah. What I don't like is making it into kind of a crass, gross out horror comedy. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, we're so rich and everything's.
Oh, it's so difficult to be rich and they're actually not that happy. That's the issue.
Yeah, I just don't like that type of film.
Saltburn, I think also the problem there is I hate that I mean, spoiler alert, I hate that it's all like, it basically gives it was all a dream kind of ending where it was like, it was all planned in advance. Yeah. And then also I don't really know what the point of the movie is because it's sort of going, oh yeah, this guy, the only way this guy could become rich is by manipulating the family against each other.
Actually,
and then like, even then, it's not based in reality because someone would have fucking figured it out.
100%. Yeah. It turns what felt like a really textured film throughout, like, oh, what's going on, to actually being really two-dimensional. Yeah, like, he's just doing that.
Yeah, it's so lame.
What are your favourite films of all time?
Yes.
And I'm really terrified to ask you this because you sent me like a provisional list in advance and I had not seen any of them.
My favorite film of all time, I'll do the honorable mentions and then I'll do the favorite.
Okay.
So the honorable mentions are, it's a film called Danganronpa.
Yeah, we're going to struggle here.
Yeah, which I know no one has heard of. I watched randomly in the lockdowns. It's an hour 20 film. I saw it once, but then it was like, I don't know if you ever see a film and you're like, oh, this is one of my favorite films ever. It's so good. It's basically about, there's 3 guys all chasing after each other. Well, there's one guy who's being chased after by one guy who's being chased after by another guy.
Yeah.
And they're sort of, that's the whole film is just them running, essentially. But then throughout their running, they all see the same things, and they all sort of like, you get a lot of they're able to tell the whole story of how they ended up running.
Yeah.
Through like these memories and flashbacks and stuff.
Okay.
And it's a really like fun story. And the ending is nuts, and it's just like, it's just so like ridiculous and wild, and I just loved it.
Wow. I mean, that was a great explanation. When you started, I was really scared because I was like, wow, people explaining films.
Yeah.
But you explained it pretty well.
It starts with him trying to rob a convenience store, and this guy chases after him, but then it turns out the guy who's chasing after him owes money to like the Yakuza. That's it. That's basically, but then they all have their reasons for how they got into the world which they're living in. So you find out why the guy robbed it, and why the guy's in the mafia, and why the guy
And so you watched that and you had that feeling of like, this is one of my faves.
Yeah, I just loved it
up.
because it was like, I just had never seen a film like that, and it's just so like, it just feels so real.
Yeah.
And then there's some great scenes in it, like when they finally stop running. There's a great scene where they go like, I haven't run like that in years, and they like I can't even remember running. Like when I was a kid, I used to do running like, and so they just have these like great moments.
That sounds
within
cool.
This movie.
That sounds nice.
And
you had 4 others on your list, so let's try and.
I do, yeah. So I had The Smell of Success, which is a great film. It's about essentially a.
Sorry to interrupt. Have you seen Letterboxd are doing this content where they're asking celebrities their top 4?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No.
And everyone's taking the piss because every celebrity is like giving really avant-garde top 4s, and everyone's like, they're fucking making that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what you're doing right now.
No, I'm not making it up.
Have you seen The Smell of Success?
You know what I saw recently was they asked Formula 1 drivers to answer their favorite films.
Right.
They did that, like, what's your favorite film? And it's so funny to see how they so go in line with their personality. Like, I can't remember one of them I think said Fast and Furious, just like, of course, lame.
Oh, tell me someone else if you remember and I'll try and guess.
So there was Max Verstappen. What do you think his favorite film is? So he is known for being quite aggressive on the track, bit of like, has like a psycho element to him, but he's like very successful.
Mad Max?
You're not far off. It was Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, of course the Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, narcissist.
Yeah, right.
Like crazy, getting away with it. And then there was a guy, Alex Albon, who seems like the most interesting out of the group, and his was Grand Budapest Hotel. And I was like, of course it is.
Yeah,
how lovely an answer for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Smell of Success, it's like an old-timey film, black and white. The guy who works in advertising, he's a bit of a rat character, trying to figure it all out, and he's just trying to get like some advertising space, and he's just a hustler, and he's just figuring it out. But in the meantime, there's this story about like the main newspaper owner's daughter is involved with this jazz player he doesn't want to. So there's this whole sub-story that's happening around this main character's ambitions.
You're a weird dude.
Yeah, but it's so, but I love it. It's just so many fucking incredible lines.
Yeah?
There's a great line where the guy's, he's kind of being like asked, he's being annoying, right? And they're kind of telling him kind of to fuck off. And he goes, oh, I seem to have left my humor in my other suit. So you know what I mean? Just like these wacky lines.
Yeah, right.
And then there's this great point where the villain is being kind of like the main guy who runs the newspaper, which is also great. I love it when villains aren't like killing people; they just have power.
Yeah,
it makes such a. I love when films are able to find danger in reality.
That's interesting.
So, like for example, what is the film? What's the one with the 4 boys and they find the dead body? Stand By Me, yeah. I love the train track scene because it's such a real way that danger could happen.
And even if you haven't been in that exact situation, you can relate to feeling as a kid. Like
yeah, exactly. Or in Licorice Pizza, do you know when they're like have you seen it?
Yeah.
When they're driving the truck and the brakes fail. And also I love that film has so many like plots that it just picks up and drops at certain points.
Yeah, I have some thoughts about that, which I mean, that could be a whole hour.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just love that scene because it's like, it's this random thing, you don't expect it to happen, and all of a sudden these characters are in real danger and it feels real.
Yeah, I can see that.
But anyway, so the villain is like this guy, and he's being kind of annoyed by this, like really, like he sees it like a weasel type of character, right? And he's like, he keeps berating him, and he goes, listen, I don't relish shooting a mosquito with an elephant gun. and it's just so fucking
Is it that
good.
accent?
And he goes like that. He goes like, I don't relish shooting a mosquito with an elephant gun.
Oh,
and they all have these like old-timey like film noir accents.
Yeah.
But that line is just like, the people who wrote this shit, like it's just, they were having so much fun with it. But
cool.
it doesn't feel like out of place. And so that's really fun.
You have a very unique taste.
Yeah, I love it.
I feel like that noir style that you just said leans into your like club comedian style.
Like, I love that era,
one.
and that'll go very nicely with my favorite film, which I'll say. But this is the next one, which I won't talk too much about, but just Princess Mononoke as well.
Yeah, so this is the one that on the list where I was like, yeah, I haven't seen it, but I kind of feel I should have seen it.
Yeah, it's just incredible. I think it's just so creative that I love sitting with that film and watching the whole story go by.
Yeah, it's anime, right?
It's an anime. It's a Studio Ghibli film. It's just incredible.
I have to admit that I've actively avoided anime because I
wouldn't say it's anime. It's Japanese animated.
Yeah,
anime. I think was like Naruto.
Is it Miyazaki?
Yeah, Hayao Miyazaki.
Yeah, so it's not. I haven't avoided anime. I've avoided Miyazaki because I tried Spirited Away, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's his best," or maybe other people wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah,
but I was like, I fucking hate it.
Really?
I fucking hate
Do you like the meandering? Do you not like the meandering plot?
I like meandering plots. Maybe it's the animation style.
It's for me what I love about Miyazaki films is they're just so creative. The imagination is just ridiculous.
Boo.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't know.
Man.
Oh, you haven't done your favorite? Yeah. Oh, go on. What's your favorite?
Singing in the Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Me,
I watched Singing in the Rain at uni,
yeah,
and I haven't seen it since, but I enjoyed.
I think it's the perfect film.
Yeah?
I think it is so good. The singing is amazing. The dancing is amazing. If you find out about the story of the film, some of the background, it's just, there's scenes in it which do meander a little bit and go on. But for me, every time I watch that film, I'm just in pure joy.
Do you know, they played it, we used to do this thing at uni where we'd have a seminar about a film, we'd watch a few clips, and then we'd go watch the full film. They played us the clip of the sound booth comedy scene.
Oh, I love that.
Right.
Speak into the bush.
Yeah. Yeah. And when they played that clip, I think I didn't have context on what film it was from or something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it was from Singing in the Rain because I hadn't seen it at that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I
couldn't believe it was from a movie I'd never seen.
No, I mean like, it felt so fresh.
Yeah.
I was like, this doesn't feel like it's from a film made in the
That's
40s
what singing is so good.
50s.
Singing in the Rain, what I love about it is, first of all, the female characters in it, I don't know if it passes the Bechdel test. Honestly, I don't give a shit. I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. No, but like the characters in it stand up for themselves.
Yeah.
The female characters are like, obviously the woman is Lena Lamont, that's her name. She goes, I can't stand him.
Yeah.
Now you tell him that she's got that like horrible accent, but Kathy in it, there's a scene in it where she's basically has to like go against her own morals, and she doesn't agree with the decision, and she stands up for herself and she goes, "Listen, I'm going to do this, but we're over. Like this is over. We're not going to date anymore."
Right.
And I love that because it's like she has real agency. She has her own life,
Which is progressive at the
which is
time.
pretty progressive. And there's just so many great scenes. The music is incredible. The dancing is incredible.
Music's all right.
Yeah, I'm
joking. Yeah,
so I just
one
love
of the most iconic scores.
I love watching the movie, and it's such a romantic film.
Yeah.
It's such a family friendly film. It's great. I think it's just one of those. I love like that kind of timeless kind of movie where every generation can watch, every generation can enjoy it, and it's just so fun.
Well, I think what we found is that you're a curious guy.
Yeah.
With a very curious taste, and I respect that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the type of person I want on this show. What are your go-to cinema snacks?
So I'm not a snob about snacks, by the way, when it comes to the cinema.
What would be snobby about?
Well, I think someone saying you can't have any snacks in the cinema. You know, I hate people like that. I think it depends. If
this is a pro-snack podcast.
Yeah. I will say though, if you're gonna have snacks in the cinema, eat them up within the first 15 to 20 minutes. I don't want to be...
During the trailers even sometimes.
Yeah, I do. That's how I eat most of my movies. Yeah. What are my snacks of choice? I like a chocolate raisin. That could be good. Buy them in advance.
I expected better from you, really.
Gummies, I like those. And popcorn. Popcorn's a classic.
Oh, so you're just like a bag of something.
No, I get different bags. I don't mix it up.
Oh, right.
I'm very particular.
What, one per film, though?
No, I think if you got a mix, I can do that. I like popcorn, though. I just like normal salted popcorn.
Yeah.
I don't need to go sweet. I don't want to go cheese. Have you seen people have cheese popcorn?
I like that.
Oh, it smells so bad.
I'm not into mix, because I'm like, I want to commit. I want sweet, or I want salty, or I want cheese. I don't like it when people are like, oh, I have a bit of sweet, bit of salty, because I'm like, I can't really commit to the taste.
You know what I don't like when it comes to movie snacks is this like people who get like nachos and a hot dog and like a pizza. I can't stand it, man.
Mate, that's been me in the past, and I've had to stop.
I don't
myself.
like, you know what, it's the smell, but it's also the heat. We're sitting in the cinema. I went to go see the newest Tom Holland Spider-Man. What is that? Far from home. No Way Home.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those lounge cinemas where like they got couches and stuff like that,
yeah.
which I thought was gonna be fun. But then it really just feels like everyone's in their fucking living room.
Yeah.
And it's too relaxed.
And it's actually not that comfy.
Yeah.
This is comfier.
Yeah.
I'm not even just talking up this podcast brought to you by Cineworld. But it is comfy here.
It is comfortable.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable.
And that's a big thing for me. Like, I get really finicky about comfort in cinemas.
Yeah.
But the snacks thing, I have been known to bring in hot, like meals. I've been known to like actually go to a place that has a hot counter and make a meal and bring it in. And I had to tell myself to stop because I actually never enjoyed it. Because what happens is you inevitably are sat next to someone, they hate you, you know they hate you, and so I can't enjoy the food anyway. So I'm just like, bring in at most a cold like sandwich at most.
Yeah.
Because I quite like a filling snack.
Really?
Almost meal level.
No, I want a snack. I want a snack. I usually go popcorn as my choice, but often I don't. I really like when I go to the movies. I like to watch when I go to the pictures. I like to just watch the movie. So I like I plan my peas in advance. I try not to drink anything.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Especially if it's a long film, I don't want to miss any part of it.
Oh mate, before June, I dehydrated myself for like 4 days.
You want ripped. But it depends also, I think it also depends on the type of film. Like if it's an artsy film, I don't want to miss it. But if it's like a blockbuster, I'm like happily, let's go for snacks.
100%.
But no smelly ones. Sour cream and onion Pringles, get the fuck out of here.
Completely agree with that. Again, I've been that guy before, but you've just got to learn the hard way. You know?
You gotta have someone bitch at you.
Exactly.
That's what I do. I'm a Karen.
Actually, I do recognize your voice. Yeah. Hey, put away the cheese.
Who's fucking farting in here? Who's fucking farting in here?
Oh,
fucking hot dog.
Your life is on screen.
Yes.
We're watching you. Yeah. And I'd like to know, first of all, what format would that be? Would it be a 3-hour epic, or would it be a Netflix 10-part season, or would it be a sitcom?
Would it be a sitcom? I think if my life was on screen, I'd like to think it was a romantic comedy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Coming from a single lonely man.
Single lonely man, you know it. I think it probably would be. I mean, it's not going to be an action movie, is it?
I don't know.
I sometimes fantasize.
He biked here.
I fantasize
through Leicester Square. That's quite action-packed for a morning.
Yeah, I think it could be. If it was action, right? It would be a comedy in the same way that The Bear is a comedy. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know where they force comedy onto movies or TV shows that are not comedies at all.
So, did you know that Joseph Gordon-Levitt in about 2012
did a bike movie?
Did a bike movie.
Yeah,
did you see it?
I didn't see it, but I know of it.
It's on my list to watch.
Really?
Oh, called Premium Rush. Films like that make me laugh.
Like, who greenlit this?
I watch it just to laugh, and there's another good actor in it. Anyway.
I can't watch shitty films like that. I tried watching Fast X.
No, that's different. See, I don't like watching shitty films that are knowingly shitty, but actually worse than they even know.
Yeah.
I like watching films that were greenlit with good intentions.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me laugh even now.
Have you seen Dredd? Judge Dredd?
No, but that's quite good, right?
Oh, I hated it.
Oh, yeah, I heard good things.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I was going to use that as an example. But
yeah, I like, because Premium Rush, I'm like, fuck you.
The name is so
good,
intense.
Yeah. So, your life is on screen and you want it to be a rom-com.
I don't want it to be a rom-com, but I think it just would be a rom-com.
You think it would be a rom-com? And we're talking like 90-minute, 100-minute rom-com?
Yeah, 90-minute.
Right. And who...
Well, I mean, maybe I could even go for like a dramatic, artsy rom-com, I think.
Oh, like a Before Sunrise?
Oh my God, I love those movies.
I love that film, man.
That Before Sunrise, Before Sunset. Do you like After Midnight or Before Midnight? Yeah, the whole thing is great.
I cry in every single one.
It's beautiful.
Before Midnight, I cry at the end. Oh,
yeah, it's so good.
Also,
when she gets her tits out.
Oh, yeah. What actor would you want to play you?
Yeah.
And who would actually play you?
So I'd love a bold casting, like a Viola Davis.
Okay.
Or a Jodie
right.
Turner-Smith.
Okay.
Jodie Turner-Smith, dude. Damn.
I can't
She's in
Jodie Turner-Smith.
Queen and Slim. Slim.
She's great.
Dude.
Yeah, she's great.
She's great, but also she is so fucking attractive.
Okay,
Unbelievable.
okay, chill, bro. Okay.
Do you never watch movies and you're just like, you see the pretty actors on screen, you just think like, this is nice?
I couldn't believe it when I watched, I think it was Challengers. I was just like, everyone's just
Oh
really
my God,
fit.
everyone is so attractive. And they all are attractive in their own way, which I love.
Yeah, and the blonde guy in the
Yeah.
film, I thought wasn't as attractive as the brunette guy.
Yeah.
But then when I watched interviews after, I was like, fuck, I can see why they cast him.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I want to fucking climb in the screen right now.
Dude, I love, you know what, I know it's bad that we have like beauty standards that aren't met, but looking at beautiful people on screen is just amazing.
Oh, it's the best.
Guy and
mate.
girls, whatever
I
they
love
got.
it when you watch a biopic and the guy's like, I don't know, Christian Bale, and then it gets to the end and it shows the picture of
Yeah,
the
they're
person.
so ugly.
It's like a gargoyle. I love that. I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I get it, because I want to watch Christian Bale.
I want to watch Christian
So,
Bale,
you would like a bold cast. I know that was a joke, so
Yeah.
let's have some serious
So
answers
serious,
from
I
you,
probably
please,
would end
Philip.
up being like a Tom Holland or something like that. But we
What?
need to,
That's a serious answer?
I someone who like that kind
You're
of.
twice the height of him for
That's
a
true.
start.
I got to think about tall, lanky guys. I didn't think about that. Who are some tall, lanky actors?
I'm thinking like Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds.
I have no idea. Someone
He's
who's
too
like,
old for me.
No?
Yeah, I got to think about someone younger. Who's like a? No, honestly, it would be like a Timothy Chalamet. Let's like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, he's not got your stature though.
Yeah, it's true.
Maybe who's like Austin Butler?
Who's? Oh, Austin Butler. Yeah, I could see that.
I guess.
But like Austin Butler in Dune,
yeah, yeah, shaven,
shaven, bald.
completely pasty white. Yeah. Okay, so but do you have an answer for who would actually play you, like realistically?
No, I realized I forgot.
That's fine.
Sorry, I've
fine.
prepared a lot of them and then I forgot.
I mean,
to do
in
this one.
episode 1, Ali didn't prepare a goddamn thing, so
That's good.
absolutely fine. No, I feel like we're pretty close with that. Jacob Elordi's quite tall. He's the
Jacob?
Saltburn love interest. Well, he's the one that
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
obsessed with.
Yeah, I could see that.
The tall guy, maybe that could work.
Yeah, you want tall, but you kind of want a little bit attractive.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, that could
And what happens at the end? And has it already happened yet? Has your life, if your life was a film,
What do you think I'm doing after this podcast?
so you're sa-
Gonna kill myself.
I guess,
I love that there's. I love
because
there's two,
of this
I love
podcast.
there's two versions of you, Fred, isn't there? There's
Yeah.
the one that wants to laugh at that, and then there's the corporate one who's like, no, we
It's
need
like,
to keep
it's
our
brought to you
sponsorship.
by Cineworld.
Brought to you by Cineworld.
You're 100% right. That is
Yeah.
the battle going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it ended? No, I don't think it has. I mean, my dream.
I mean, it's a rom-com and you haven't got a fucking partner, so
Yeah.
it's not ended.
But I think my life would be more about the stand-up than it would be about romance. In fact, I think that might be the ending.
So it's just a com.
I think, the more I think about it, I think it's more of like a drama comedy.
Yeah, all
With
right.
some
So
romance
so
elements
it's
to
like a guy muscling through life on his own,
Trying to make it.
trying to make it.
And then there may be romantic interests. But I think the soul care, it's like, at the end of the day, when you're pursuing anything creative, it's you at the end of the day who is the main character in your life, right? Even though that's an
Yeah.
arrogant way to look at it. So I think there could be from what I dream of my career and genuinely, like obviously we're on like a podcast and trying to have fun, but I have really big hopes for what I want to achieve. Don't know how I'm going to get there, but I think if those could happen, then that would be the story.
Today is the
So
start.
so it's going
this
to
is
end.
the start.
It's going to end with selling out Madison Square Garden.
Oh,
that's how
fuck yeah.
that's how the movie
And
ends.
you're going to do a
And then it was
Kevin
all
Hart where it's
yeah.
like headliners only.
Oh my god, that's so arrogant.
I
That headliners
know,
only.
mate.
They bring the fucking goat on stage.
I hated that. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's great. That's
That's how I want it to end.
I don't know if I can think of a film that's like that, though.
But the thing is, I think a majority of the film, at least what I imagine my comedy career will be like and my life career will be like, a majority of it will be the struggle. And then I think what I imagine seeing other people's careers and what I think about myself, the only way I can stay hopeful, like I'm not going to be depressed and be like, it's never going to work out.
Okay.
I believe in myself, but I believe that what's likely going to happen is it's going to be like a number of years and then something's going to click.
There was a film that came out with Adam Driver. Who could play you?
He could. I'd actually like Adam Driver.
Yeah, that's
to play
good.
me.
Called Patterson.
I haven't seen it.
It was basically a film where famously nothing happened.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a guy working his way through life. I feel like that's the most similar to what...
Have you seen Annette?
No.
The one that he did with that French actress?
No.
It's awful.
Is
It's
it?
3 hours, and they're horrible at singing.
His career's
There's this fucking great scene though. They go, "We love each other so much," right? They're singing, and then they cut to like it's a song where like they show the relationship through the song.
Yeah.
And then at one point they're fucking each other, and they're still singing.
No way.
And he's like grabbing her, and he's like holding her, and he's like,
That
"We."
sounds awful. His
awful.
career's gone down the pan, and it bothers me. Final question about the Your Life on Screen. How would it do? Would it be a box office success, or
I think it would be like a kind of a cult classic.
Cult classic, Oscar noms, maybe an actor nom.
It could be nominated, yeah, for an actor. I think if we got a good director and it could do well.
Yeah.
Maybe I would purposely choose it to be in a different language so it can go for best foreign
Okay,
film.
yeah, because then it almost adds prestige.
Yeah.
What would it be in Slovenian?
I'd love for it to be multilingual.
Yeah.
Like German, English, Slovenian.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Zone of interest vibes.
Yeah.
But just different, slightly different.
100%.
Where's your normal seat in a cinema? So you go into a regular cinema.
I'm very particular about this.
At this point, I'm going to bring up a seat map of Fred's Imaginary Cinema.
Yes.
And you're going to pick a seat. Generally, you won't be able to say.
Yeah. Where are you sitting?
I'm kind of like, well, I'm kind of similar to Ali, but I don't want to sit next to Ali.
Yeah.
So my face will probably be just slightly aside. We're both kind of a third back, kind of midway up the screen height.
Yeah.
In the middle.
Middle. You got to do middle, first of all.
Yeah.
I will go to the lengths. I will look at the screen.
Yeah.
I will count the number of seats in the middle of the screen.
100%.
Divide it by 2, find the middle seat, and then choose left or right.
It's got to be done.
Yeah, 100%. Here's the problem I'm finding recently when I go to cinemas.
Yeah.
Is that I usually go a little bit further back because I don't want to be too close to the screen, but then I'm too far away.
That'll happen.
And then I'll go closer, but then I'm too close.
Yeah,
I wish they would just have an image where you could see yourself in the screen.
Right.
And if Cineworld is introducing this, excellent time to market.
It's a business idea that I actually need to talk to Cineworld about. I
want to see photos of each, like rough areas.
Theaters have the view from my seat thing.
Yes.
And I want that for cinemas.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, so you think it could be a good business?
Yeah.
Maybe not a business, but like at least a site.
Feature. Yeah. A feature of that.
So you're basically middle.
I'll choose it middle.
So me and Nally are kind of front third, you're middle.
I'll be the row behind you.
Maybe a couple of rows.
Whatever you want.
You don't want to smell my cheese on your crisp.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But the problem is I do find it tough when someone's tall sitting in front of you.
True.
That's very annoying.
Yeah. Okay, great. So your face is on there. Yeah. Ideal dinner guests.
For a dinner party from cinema.
For it, yeah.
Okay, so I take the villain from Mad Max Fury Road, the guy with the milk and stuff like that.
I love that, yeah.
I'll choose Jack from The Shining.
Okay, 2 villains.
So there we go. And then I'll choose Darth Vader as well.
Okay,
just to have a bit of a generic
villains.
one.
Okay.
And then the last one is Paddington Bear.
Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, I want to see how Paddington handles real villains.
Mate,
because his villains are always whimsical.
I think he's got the charisma to really...
Dude, I think he's dead in a minute.
You reckon?
You know what they're having for dinner? Paddington Bear.
Who kills him first out of those 3?
I reckon it's the Mad Max guy because he lives in the desert.
Agree.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Ping pong pop culture, final round. This is where you pick a category.
Yeah.
And it can be anything. I'll explain for the audience. Tom Cruise movies, Friends episodes, those are the things I always use as examples. And we go back and forth until one of us can't name another one.
Yeah.
And then we win. There is no time limit. Ali was a bit tight on that. He was like 3 seconds and you're out. It's just vibes. We're going like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
We'll just see how we go. But you call the other one out. So if I think you're taking too long, I'll call you out.
Wonderful.
So what's your category?
So I choose my category, and then do I say the first one?
You can do that. Yeah.
Okay. My category is Studio Ghibli films.
No. Well, I mean, it's good because we're short on time. So yeah, go on then.
Spirited Away.
Princess Mononoke.
Oh, okay. My Neighbor Totoro.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Nice. Noshka in the Valley of the Wind.
The Boy and the Heron.
Ooh, very good choice.
Yeah.
Pompoko.
Nice to have you on, Philip.
We can have Ponyo as well.
Oh, Ponyo, yeah.
Ponyo,
okay.
Ponyo, I'm a little fish.
It was a pleasure having you on, Philip.
Yeah, it was really good.
A true movie nerd, and that's the type of person we want on. Actually, not always. So, yeah, please follow Philip on all these socials that I'm going to put here. Is there anything you want to plug?
Nothing at the moment. I think, when is this going to be out?
Who knows?
Okay,
Maybe
so
never.
I'm doing work in progress shows in London, so there'll be some if you're available. I'm moving to New York pretty soon though, so come watch me if you're an international viewer. I'll plug my special, Daddy's Home. You can buy that on my website for £8. But yeah, thank you so much for having me, Fred. This is what I love talking about movies.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me. This was FREDFLIX, brought to you by Cineworld. Please don't forget to like and subscribe because there's going to be more guests even better than this guy. Thanks very much.